Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of the 10 cards 1 kit I'm making with the Spellbinders card kit of the month for May 2019. If you missed part 1, I'll link it at the end of the video and up above for you just in case you want to check it out. Okay, I started off by cutting down a piece of the black cardstock that came in the kit. This measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then I'm going to take this journaling tag. I added fun foam behind it, and I'm going to mat this on my black cardstock. I'm going to remove the release paper off of the double-sided tape I added and place this directly on my card base. It's going to leave me a little bit of a white border. For this card, we're going to use some more of the die cut pieces or the ephemera pieces that came in the kit, and I'm going to use this little tag that has the alphabet on there. It has the block and the script letters. I'm going to place it wonky on top of my journaling tag, and then we're going to add this gray butterfly here. I'm going to fluff up the wings a little bit, and we're going to place this wonky towards the top of our journaling tag. Now all we have to do is add our sentiment, and I used a couple of the sentiment strips. The gray one here says keep life simple, and the pink one on top says wonderful, and this last one says amazing. We just added some foam tape behind there and placed our sentiments on there. For finishing touches, I'm going to add a few of the black sequins that came with this month's kit. And then the butterfly has little sparkles on it, and they're iridescent, and I found that the Nuvo glitter drops in the White Blizzard has the same color of glitter. So I'm going to add a few little dots here and there, and my bottle is clogged, so I'm just taking a pin and unclogging it. But I'm going to add a few little dots all around my journaling tag here just to spread out that sparkle, and that finishes off card number 6. Now we're going to move along to card number 7. We're going to make a masculine card. So this pattern paper I trimmed down to 4 inches by 3 1/4. I'm going to adhere that to a white panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I trimmed down a thin strip of the tan and black stripe pattern paper, and I'm adhering this number strip from the die cut pack, just adding a little bit of detail right below it. And I know I want to cover the seam up with this, but I do want to tuck this piece underneath, and I'm going to trim it off a little bit. No worries about the sentiment because we're going to cover that up. I'll just place this on our panel and then add our little strip and press down really good, and then we'll trim off the excess. And then for my sentiment, I'm going to use this die cut piece. It says Family Man, and I'm adding a piece of foam tape, and I'm going to place that directly in the center of that larger wood grain circle. Now I'm taking the little hay. The little hay was the centerpiece of the wreath that came in the die cut pack, and I'm going to place that right next to the Family Man. So my sentiment will read, "Hey Family Man." I'm going to flip this over, and I already added foam tape. Actually, it's fun foam behind my panel here. I'm going to place this in the center of our card base, and then we're going to take some of those black sequins again and add just a few. I'm going to adhere them with some glue. And the Family Man had that copper foiling on it, and I wanted to bring some more of that copper around. But since this is a masculine type card, I didn't want to go too glittery, so I just dotted the center of my sequins. And that finishes off card number 7. Nice little masculine card. Now for card number 8, I die cut out this flower. This flower was from leftover from part 1, where I had did a little shading with my oxide inks. I used that same cardstock, and I just die cut out the top layer of the layering flower. Next, I adhered a white panel to a piece of the gray cardstock, kind of matting it on there, and I'm going to die cut out a window through both of these. Now I only put the tape in the center so I could separate them. I'm going to add some double-sided tape behind the white panel here. I'm not going to remove the release paper just yet because I wanted to do a little die cutting with the leaf. This is part of the die cut pack. But I wanted it to be on the edge of my window. So I'm lining it up, adding some tape behind the die and the leaf, and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. This way I have that same flower edge on my leaf. Kind of like puzzle piecing. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and then place this back in the home that it fits in, and it doesn't obstruct my window there. Okay, let's remove the release paper and then add this to our gray panel, lining up that window so we have one solid background flower. Okay, I added some foam tape behind my panel here. We're just removing the release paper and we're going to add this to our card base. And then we're going to take the second layer of our flower die, and just using glue, I'm going to add that on the very inside of our window. We're going to inset that in there. So we have a little bit of dimension, but the flower is recessed. I think that looks so pretty and nice and soft. Now I have the same leaf. The ephemera pack, or the die cut pack this month, came with 2 of everything, which is great. So I added foam tape behind that one, and then I'm going to add a sentiment strip. It's so pretty. This sentiment strip says beauty surrounds us, and I just added that. Now we're going to add some bells and whistles with some Nuvo Jewel drops. These will dry translucent, and these are in the rose watercolor. We're going to keep it with grays and soft pinks for this one. Now moving along to card number 9. This is a super quick and easy card, but I have a panel here I created with the white cardstock that came in the kit. Now the panel size is 4 inches by 5 1/4, I believe. I'm using the photo frame, and I matted a piece of the pattern paper behind it, and I did die cut out 2 leaves with the leaf dies in this month's kit. I used the wood grain pattern paper to die cut those out. Now I stamped the sentiment. The sentiment is super pretty. It says, "Sometimes the smallest things take the most room in your heart." When I stamped it on the reverse side of the cardstock. So one side has texture, the other one has a little bit of texture, but it's a lot smoother. I made sure I stamped my sentiment on the smoother side. Now I'm going to add my leaves. I did trim down the bottoms of the leaves so I could create kind of a swag, so they would kind of overlap each other on that curve. I just glued them over my photo frame. Now all we have to do is add a couple of natural colored butterflies. I think this card looks really natural and organic. So I really like it. Was super easy, but I like the outcome. Next I'll take this panel and add this to my card base. And then that finishes off this card. Okay, we're going to move along to our final card today. We're going to make a collage card, and it's a masculine one. That's the great thing about this month's kit, is it has masculine tones to it. So quite a few masculine cards I made today. But I'm taking a strip of this pattern paper. It's a 3/4 inch strip. Using my scissors, I'm going to fishtail the bottom portion. We're going to place this to the left, directly on our card base. Now I have the ruler that came from the die cut pack. I'm just going to add a piece of tape behind it and adhere that right next to our fishtail banner. I'm going to use one of the smaller slide frames. It's not really a photo frame, I would say more of a slide frame. And I'm going to do a little layering. I did already add tape behind our frame, so I'm going to remove the release paper and add this first. And I wanted to use that little bear. Since the bear overlapped a little bit, I added an extra layer of foam adhesive on that bottom corner so it would lay flush. For my sentiment, I chose the ephemera piece here that says "Brave, Fearless, and Free." We're going to add that right next to our little bear tag. Placing it a little bit wonky. Lovely. Okay, I want to bring in some green up to the upper right corner, so I'm going to use 2 of the leaves here. Just adding a little bit of glue to the bottom, and I'm going to tuck them underneath that little bear tag. It's going to spread out that green color since this is mostly greens and browns. And then for the rest of my sentiment, I'm going to throw in some sentiment strips that came with the die cut pack. I just popped them up with some foam tape. The longer one says record the journey, and then we're going to add handsome right below it. And I'm not going to add no glittery or bells and whistles to this one. I think this one's pretty busy, so we're going to leave it at that. And that finishes off card number 10. Again, if you guys missed part 1, I'll link it at the end of the video, and if you want to check out the unboxing, I'll link that there as well. Now we're going to take a look at all 10 cards that I made with the Spellbinders card kit of the month for May 2019. Super fun kit. In fact, I have lots left over, and after I show you the 10 cards, we're going to go through the leftovers real fast. But these cards here I made from part 1. You can see the versatility, feminine and very organic looking cards. This one was from part 2 here. Those butterflies are gorgeous. Our little Hey Family Man. And the dies this month in the kit are just beautiful. I love that layering flower. This one was from part 1, our birthday card. There's our little collage card, and then our butterfly card. So I'm going to gather all these together. I'm going to grab my box, and I wanted to show you what I have left over. It doesn't even seem like I put a dent in the kids. But starting off the cardstock, I have a lot of, I like to trim my cardstock in half, but I have half of the copper, half of the white. I actually have a full sheet of the green, half of the black and half of the gray. I already trimmed down the green cardstock into quarters. But that's our cardstock left over, and then we have our paper pad, tons of papers left over. I'm just going to put this back in our bag here. And then we have our ephemera pack, or our die cut pack, or our butterflies. Lots of butterflies left over. That is our ephemera. I mean, it's fully loaded still. These are our little chipboard photo frames and our journaling tags. Of course, we have our stamp set. A little bit of tape left, and then our dies. And I do have a couple sequins left too. I forgot to throw those in there. But I thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope this inspires you and gives you some ideas on how to use this month's kit. Links are down below if you're interested in it. I wish you a lovely, lovely day. Thanks so much for joining me. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.